Hi, my name is Miranda Greenberg. I am the Donation Discussion Training Specialist here at SightLife. That is a very long name. That means that I build and run the training program for the TDCs, the Transplant Donor Coordinators in donor operations, to have the donation discussion with families during what is, of course, a very sensitive time. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about innovation as a value at SightLife. So innovation really spans across every department. It's really in the fibers of what SightLife is. As an employee, where that is such a strong value in the organization I work for, it is extremely motivating to come to work every day and get to create something completely new and push us towards our mission of eliminating corneal blindness. So what I learned a little bit in looking into innovation was a little bit about an innovation model that kind of talks about three different stages of innovation. The first one being kind of process innovation. Really means, how are we going to get this done? How are we going to bring corneas in the door and get them out to recipients and actually make cornea transplants happen? And coming in right from the get-go at SightLife, I'm sure that you've all seen, we do that really, really well. The next stage of innovation that I learned about in this model was really, how do you bring what you're doing to market? So how do you actually connect with surgeons? How do you actually grow? And how do you actually kind of span your mission across a larger area? SightLife, again, really, really strong at that. And we're continuing to build along that model, that tier of the model very, very well. The last kind of segment of innovation is experience innovation. And it's, how do you bring what you're doing to people? So of course, as the donation discussion trainer, training a conversation that we have with grieving families, of course that resonates with me quite a bit in the role that I have, but I think that resonates with everyone across the departments in SightLife, of how are we bringing what we're doing to people on the ground in the United States, in India, across the globe, and where we're working. And we're being very innovative in how we're doing that. SightLife is growing at a really amazing rate. We're very intentional with how we're growing. And what's really interesting to be a part of is innovation within those three kind of tiers that's happening all at once as we're growing. That's innovative within itself. And to watch every kind of tier change and adapt very methodically with how SightLife is growing, and to be a part of that and get to come up with new ideas of how we're going to grow in a really methodical, successful way towards our mission, is why I get to come to work every day. It's why I look forward to walking in the doors every day, and I would never want to work for a place that didn't have innovation at its core like SightLife does.
I'm Kelly Guevara, and I work in the Surgical Services Department, and I'll be talking about quality and why it's important in the work that we do. So our department works with surgeons and the tissue, and we help determine which patient should receive which cornea. So throughout that process, we're focused on quality from the beginning to end. So I like to think of two main areas that we really think about this specific value. One is the customer service. So when we're working with surgeons, it's really important to us that they have a great experience so that they continue to utilize SightLife for their tissue needs. So this means that we have somebody available in our department to answer the phone 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, 364 days a year. And then when we're not available, there's a whole other department, the donor operations, who can also take those phone calls. So we find it's really important to provide great service. We want to make sure we have tissue available at all times in several different laboratories to make sure that surgeries are never canceled and that we're constantly providing the best possible service. Recently we had a surgeon visit the office who proudly told her colleagues that she's never had to cancel a surgery since she started working with SightLife, and it's because we've consistently worked to get her tissue even in emergency cases. And that's really the goal of our customer service. So the other aspect of quality that we really focus on in our department has to do with tissue quality. So we are the department that actually physically evaluates the corneas and decides if they're suitable for transplant. And as you can imagine, this is a very important task that we take really seriously. And in SightLife, we're lucky enough to have two of the most experienced eye banking slit lampers in probably the entire world. Caroline Hoover and Mimi Chow have each evaluated over 10,000 corneas each. So the combined experience of the two of them allows us to take our training all around the country and also all around the world. So Caroline and Mimi have both brought their talents to India to help train our partners there. So having all of their experience allows us to take that information and disseminate it around the world. So not only are we benefiting from their combined experience, but our partners are benefiting as well. So those are both of the ways that in our department I see quality played out day to day.
So I'm Sherry Anderson, the Partner Relations Manager, and honored to be picked to talk about passion. It's a really important value in our department. I think I see it in every department at SightLife, but we educate in hospitals and talk with our partners and stakeholders in the communities on a daily basis. So if we didn't exhibit passion and really manifest and have that as a value that we demonstrate every day, people would know. They would detect that the message and the mission that we're committed to wouldn't be authentic. So I think passion as one of the values we demonstrate in partner relations is key. They see it, our nurses see it when we're educating. They see it when we follow up with funeral homes who may have had a challenging interaction, but the passion for our mission and our advocacy for families that we serve, for the donation process, and for recipients on the other side, I think compels them in the relationship building work that we do to see beyond just the person they might have had a bad experience with to the bigger sense of passion that we all share at SightLife for our mission. I see passion in our techs, in our coordinators. I see passion in finance. I see passion in our global team, in our HR department, and our techs, the IT tech people, because everyone is responsive at SightLife. We're responsive to each other. We're responsive to the community needs, the families, and certainly to the mission that's calling to us on a daily basis, which personally sparked my passion for SightLife. When I first started, my very first week was an EBAA conference held in Seattle, and witnessing the passion of people from eye banks all around the country and actually all around the world ignited the passion that I have for our mission. So I'm excited to see that there are new people coming on board and look forward to sharing passion for SightLife with you also.
My name is Leah Watson, and I am a transplant donor coordinator in the Donor Operations Department. Over my time here at SightLife, I've seen a lot of things change and grow. However, one value that I see my fellow colleagues bring every day to their work is integrity. As a transplant donor coordinator in my department, one place where I see integrity manifest the greatest is when I speak to families. My role, we reach out to families and offer the gift of transplant donation. As you can imagine, these conversations can be emotional, can be stressful, but they also bring great reward to my daily work. In these hours after someone has passed away, we screen for medical suitability, and if someone is potentially suitable, we then reach out to their families just hours after their loved one has passed. In these conversations, I have the honor and privilege to provide the redeeming gift of transplant donation. In these conversations, I think integrity looks like treating the family with extra care and support. And in these conversations, I'm able to be a listening ear as maybe they speak about their loved one or about how this gift is special to them on this day. Overall, integrity can look like a lot of different things here at SightLife, but as a TDC, I think integrity looks like providing extra care to the family.
Hi, my name is Sonia Moore, and I am Development Associate on our Mission Advancement team, working in fundraising for our global programs. And I'm going to talk about responsibility. So when our SightLife values were first rolled out, I thought, when I heard the word responsibility, I thought, oh, we're going to talk a lot about reliability and consistency. And when I've asked people about this specifically, and everyone says those things. But when you look at the way that the value is defined by SightLife, it's more about social responsibility, that we are working to provide a humanitarian benefit to everyone involved in what we do, specifically our donors and their families, cornea recipients, our financial supporters, and surgeons, and to each other. I had served for 2 years in family services, working with donor families and with cornea recipients. And during that time, a lot of families shared with me the impact on them as far as being able to, for their loved one to be able to donate. And many of them said that it was profoundly healing and comforting to them to know that their loved one was able to help someone else. And so being able to be a part of that and seeing how SightLife was providing this benefit was clear in my role, how social responsibility was a part of what I did then. Now I'm working in mission advancement, and my role is to work to connect our supporters to the good that they are doing in the world. My aim is to provide joyful stewardship, to communicate that they are making a difference and changing people's lives, and to communicate that with joy and with gratitude. I wanted to share with you a project that I initiated last summer to celebrate our staff's commitment to the mission. Our staff is dedicated and passionate, and we commit ourselves professionally to this mission. And a lot of us choose to commit personally as well. And to celebrate that in the spirit of social responsibility, I created a campaign to highlight our feelings about the mission and to celebrate that publicly. These stories are shared with all staff and even posted on Facebook, and the goal is to help all of us feel more connected to the good that we are doing in the world every day. In my work at SightLife, social responsibility informs a lot of what I do because of the role that I have played in both family services and in mission advancement. But for a lot of our colleagues, social responsibility can be the hardest one to make actionable because it's not necessarily a part of our day jobs. It's clear how the other responsibilities, passion, quality, innovation, and integrity, are actionable and drive the mission forward. But social responsibility is a little trickier because we may know that our work and SightLife are providing a grander humanitarian benefit, but we may not see how we can take action on that to really display this value to move the mission forward. So as we focus on the other 4 values to drive the mission forward, especially in light of mission acceleration, it's social responsibility that will keep us grounded in what truly matters.